Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. I am Sir Tristan. In the last episode, we made it to the Gilded Vale, where we were looking for healing, looking for safety, looking for rest. We found none of that. Instead, we found this tree here, with the innocent people of the town hung from it, and a harsh warning to watch your step. The lord of this town here just lost their baby in childbirth, and my understanding so far is that will signal bad news for everyone. The only thing we can do right now, as we've been told, is to come to this inn, the Black Hound Inn, and rest as we await summons. We got a new companion, Aloth. He's a level 2 wizard. I don't know much about wizards yet. He does have Arcane Assault, 2 per encounter. Something like that. And then he has this list of level 1 spells, which I think I can only use once. I don't think he has mana or anything like that to use. It's fire attack, an ice attack, a non-elemental, a crush attack. Then like a daze or a stun. Oops. Don't wanna cast that. There we go. And this is how you change his abilities here. Just got these 4 locked in. Looks like you can only ever just learn 4 spells per level. So hopefully maybe that will go up as I get better. We'll see. I'm not sure. But for now, let's just go ahead and head into the inn. See if we can find anyone more friendly in here. Now, I did rescue someone in the Valewood, a cook by the name of Tenfrith, I think is his name. And hopefully I can find him and he can help me out here. Let's take a look. The floorboards are sticky with spills that no one has bothered to clean. I like that stained glass effect there, though. They got that man with the cloak. Some kind of brown slop is congealing in these dishes. It smells burnt. Ugh.
Yes.
Is perhaps the innkeeper here?
Good day to you.
Hello and welcome to the innkeeper looks up. Oh, it's you. Tenfrith told you what you did for him. It's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Okay, I got more Gilded Vale reputation. That's good. Consider yourself a favorite of the house. Discount on drinks, rooms. Tenfrith said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen. She laughs. So what would you like? Yeah, what do you have for sale? I'm sure you'll find something to your liking. We have the finest cook in Direwood. Camping supplies, potions. Okay, so rooms, recruit adventurers. Store, party management. From the party management screen, you can see what your allies are up to when they aren't in the party. If you assign them to adventures, you can see how long it will take them to complete their assignment. Recalling a champion or adventure or companion adventure for mission before it's completed will forfeit all the potential rewards for that assignment. Okay. So it looks like maybe I'll get a lot more than just my base 6. I assumed I'd only ever get 6. And it looks like I can just build my own. No, I don't actually do that, but okay. Looks like you can actually build your own adventuring team. So that's more like Icewind Dale then, if you wanted to just build a group of all 6. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's see. I just got a bunch of stuff I don't think I want. I'm not gonna sort through all this stuff right now, but probably would hold on to all this. Do I need this many torches? I don't know. I don't really see a need to sell anything right now. Restores energy and liveliness to the weary. Or more. 28 endurance over 12 seconds. It's not great healing. Inns allow characters to rest without using camping supplies. Cheap rooms are usually available, but if you have copper to spend, you may consider a more expensive option. The bonuses they provide last for a long time and affect the entire party. So a common room is free. Let's just do a common room for now and rest. Another vision. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of the Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face has shriveled inward like molding fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly her head snaps up, her eyes open, and they are empty. Behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air she speaks the word, Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see the woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. Well.
Yes.
So is that vision a part of what's been affecting me lately? Or was this perhaps the Alamancer speaking to me from beyond the grave? Spoons hang by the fire, coated in brownish gook. So...
Well?
If I mouse over here, the icon is red. So I wonder if I take what's there, or if I even look what's there, will that be considered stealing?
What is it?
I could probably test that out real fast. Do we have an auto save? Yeah, quick save. So we'll just do that real fast. Because they don't seem to care if you look. But I'm sure they would care if you took anything. So here's Tenfrith again. Ah, it's you, my savior. He makes a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's so good to be back. Do not think I will let this go unrewarded. I have decided that you have earned the right to learn one of my most closely guarded secrets, my dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. More Gilded Vale reputation. A savory pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. Well, thanks. How do I make it?
Yes.
I will name a dish in your honor. Yeah. Seems to be kind of a meeting hall here. Looks like I can take this stuff without any repercussions. Okay. Something on the table here. The fangs. Let's take a look at this book. Looks to be some kind of lore book, which I'm not going to go through right now, but... And actually, I just saw something. Crafting. Okay. Oh, savory pie. That's what I just learned. Grain, beer, meat. Max endurance, 1 might, 1 perception. Stew. Pearlwood chicken. Okay. So can I just make this sitting right here? Let's go ahead and make the savory pie. Yeah. Looks like you just make it right here. Very fun. Potions. Okay, I see. Whoa, it costs money to make potions? Maybe this is to like represent me going to the alchemist in town or something. 20 deflection until damaged. Huh. Wow, all kinds of scrolls. Oh, look at this. Requires lore 2. Money, some things. Prayer against fear. Cool. That's a pretty robust system there. Okay. Yes. For now, let's check out these people here. Uh-oh. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. Okay, let's reach out for the soul. You see a woman emptying her satchel onto her bed, taking stock of her inventory. Potions, bandages, tinctures, and herbs are scattered throughout her room haphazardly. She bites her lip, head tilted to the side, considering. She begins to repack, one item after the other, careful deliberation undercut by shaking hands. Each item has a clearly marked place, but no matter how she repacks it, she isn't satisfied. The shaking worsens as she empties it out once more, one hand held to her mouth. Tears eke out from her eyes as she gives up all semblance of order, and shoves everything she can in the satchel, grabbing it and running out of the bare house. Straightening her back, she walks to the docks, chin high, eyes hard and red. A gangly young elf offers his condolences, but she can't see him for the ocean ahead of her. She wanders the docks, offering her services as a doctor to anyone who will listen, anyone heading out on the high tide. Less than an hour later, she watches her childhood disappear in the distance, a tiny speck of an island, and tries not to jump. Well, that was awful. Interesting. So maybe anyone with these yellow names, I'm going to be able to peer into their history. Let's take a look. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. You see a group of young men standing around a makeshift practice target. The man stands in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it and what it does. He then walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. He carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he is doing as he does, and lets the arrow fly. It hits the dead center, much to the surprise and delight of the boys near it. He smiles, walking toward the boys, talking about proper stance and how to most effectively hold a bow. A noise comes from the tree line near their practice venues, and he stops, scanning the woods, blue eyes squinting against the sun. A shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind them. He draws an arrow, lines up the shot, carefully tracking the motion of the hidden creature. Loosing the arrow, he wastes no time and quickly grabs another. The boys spin, watching the arrow fly into the forest, immediately lost among the trees. There is a sudden explosive movement in the undergrowth as a deer erupts from the tree line, running across the edge of the clearing. The boys laugh, turning to joke with the man about his lousy shot. They stop, seeing him holding the bow and leading the deer with a knocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he looses the last arrow, which flies true and strikes the deer behind its shoulder, piercing the heart and lungs, dropping it dead almost immediately. The boys stare at the deer for a few seconds, then slowly turn to look at the man, newfound respect in their eyes. He smiles again and breathes a quiet sigh of relief. Well, that's an interesting power I seem to have picked up. I assume it's like the other visions is happening when I I picked it up when I what am I saying? When I happened upon that ritual, I picked up the ability to see into people's past, perhaps, or just scatter and flee under the crates.
Of course.
Looks like there's more people like this, a lot more. Locked, I don't have the mechanics. Maybe I do have the mechanics. Oh, it takes a lockpick or 2 mechanics. Crammed behind the books is a drawing that shows Eothas and Lord Raederic in a compromising position. Oh my. More things to take. Let's go ahead and just open it, that's fine.
The work of a moment.
Rapier, padded armor, and a duelist hat. Well.
Yes.
We obviously have to wear the duelist hat. Oh yeah. Perfect. And he's already got a hood. Alright.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks great. I'm not going to bother reading all their backstories right now. These bones are marked in tiny bite marks. This black hound stares intently at the covered window, head cocked as if waiting to hear a particular sound. It looks up at you when you approach and whines a low note, tail wagging slightly. Hey, doggy. The dog's tail thumps happily against the floorboards.
Yes.
Let's step through here. Will this lead me back outside, I wonder? Yeah. Seems to.
As you wish.
So I thought that I would hear from... I guess it's still nighttime. I thought I would hear from the lord of this town by now, but he is perhaps still in mourning? Man smiles broadly. Welcome to our lonely village. Thanks. I accidentally pressed F8. And that seemed to have quick loaded. That's good to know. Load up that autosave. It's a weird button for it, F8. Usually it's F5 and F9. That's what's common, at least. Controls F9. Hopefully I didn't take some other important key away. Not sure what F9 would have been bound to, though. So yes, I'm going to run back over here. See if we can't find the woman that... Uh-oh. Oh no, this is just the magistrate from before, yes? Okay, good. So yes, we're going to head over here and we're going to see if we can't find the Alemancer, or the dwarf woman that haunted our dreams. Alright. There she is. Let's head around. See if we can't talk with her. Caldara di Beranzi. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bow that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. Reach out for the woman. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spread out toward the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you have expanded enough to reach her, there is a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing electric surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily you shut your eyes, feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman. And when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in milky fog, her body still swaying in a wind you no longer feel from the tree that stands planted in the misty void. The woman gives you a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
How are you able to speak to me?
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
I need help understanding something that's happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face, as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
What's a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair. And here we are, visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on. Some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either leaving or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder!
What do you mean, when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whiskers that sprouts from one of her cheeks.
You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kanua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
I mean, I'm obviously not imagining this. I don't think I need to ask that. Do you know why I could survive that bivouac?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
So souls break apart over time?
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die, and pick up pieces of others when we are born again. But less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No. A very small few resist Remergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
So I want to know something about you.
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
What is an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations. Miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other. Turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
The Valian Republics is where I'm from as well. Well, you know what? I know what happened to you. I'm not too concerned with who you are, so
Of course, dear.
I think we're done here.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Caldara closes her eyes, and her head slumps forward over the noose, and your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. Aloth looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you all right? You seemed lost just now. You know what? I'm a watcher, turns out. His arched eyebrows recede into his hood. Well, that's interesting. He gives you a sly grin. And I expect this has something to do with the hooded figures in the ruins, In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're traveling together, it's probably wise for us to share these things. Do you know anything about the Watchers? Only that they're rare, and that they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions. He coughs, just as you demonstrated. Alright, well, let's keep going. Got a new quest. Travel to Caed Nua. Oh, the smell of pipe smoke, at once earthly and sweet, winds its way into your nostrils. Your eyes trace the smoke to its origin, where you find a broad man with the straw-colored hair leaning against a mossy rock wall, his pipe held to his lips with one meaty hand. He looks you directly in the eye, but the look is not aggressive. He regards you with a peculiar smirk.
17 and a half. Well, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman.
What are you talking about?
The people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted, anyway.
Aloth frowns. Is that what you people do for fun around here?
Name's Adair. So do the people around here. Might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved.
All of our days are numbered, apparently. What was that about the dwarf you were saying?
The dwarf woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta.
And what makes you think I was interested in her? He looks at you a moment, his brow arched, his smirk broadens.
I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a Radric at first.
I don't drool half as much. Ha, so you're already familiar. Still, you'll have to forgive my curiosity. Round here we prefer to turn a blind eye to our dead. Do you know what a watcher is?
Careful, friend. Let's not use that word round here. There'd be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be. Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense.
What's that supposed to mean? Hey, don't blame me. I don't have a say. You can take my word for that.
The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war.
What does your town have against you exactly?
Pick the wrong god. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, there was a temple to him, to give you some idea. Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, and then I did too. But, he didn't make it back.
Why would you enlist in an army to follow a god who claimed to be your god but you knew wasn't? That seems kind of weird.
After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me.
So he fought on the other side against this man. I see now.
Seems that's no longer a concern. Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Radric's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing.
Allah glances at you and lowers his voice. You can see why I was eager to leave. If you're next to be hanged, what are you still doing here? He gives a half smile, drinking mostly. Point of fact, I'm on my way out. Just haven't figured out where I'm going yet. Not a whole lot of places out there that don't think Wyden's legacy started with Wyden. Why was your headman hanged? Got involved. Radric sent men down here the other day. Said they had it on good authority. Someone in the town was working with Kolsk, plotting Radric's overthrow. Said if he didn't come forward right then and there, they'd hang every last one of us. No one was coming forward. So Swithin, that's my headman, he steps up and says it was him. They took him at his word. He shies and shakes his head, his eyes fixed on the tree. Bound to happen sooner or later. If not for the plotting against Radric, then for protecting me. So who's Kolsk you're talking about? Someone who got tired of all the hangings. He's on the run now. Probably will be till they catch him. So tell me a bit more about the war. Saints' War. Only one in my lifetime. Fella decides he's the living incarnation of Aethys. Overthrows Reed Cirrus. Marches on the Direwood. So he gave him a Direwoodian hello. And what's that?
We blew him up.
He smiles at this. But it is the smile of one recounting a joke for effect rather than enjoyment. I know who Aethys is, so I won't ask that question. You know what? We could travel together. He asks where I'm headed. Some place called Caed Nua. There's an old watcher there.
Seem to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say watcher with a hush on your breath. A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before. Not sure how I feel about setting out with a stranger, and a strange one at that. But, truth be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree.
Allah says there's a fine reason if I ever heard one.
Alright then. Guess I'll do some sightseeing. Long as you're not the one picking the sights.
He tilts his head forward and gives you a pointed look. Let's get going. Alright, excellent.
Hey.
Yes.
And I've picked up Eder, level 3 fighter.
Well,
Fantastic. And I'm going to go ahead and call the episode here. A little over time for now, but thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.